Hey everyone, it's Coach Callie with Coordinated Coaching, and today's topic, I know it's been a while, I haven't been on here, but I've been super busy just trying to find that counterbalance in my life, my rhythm, getting my beat, you know what I mean. But anyways, today I want to talk to you about just that, and not within our own lives, but with our athletes. I believe right now I am working with, I think at least 12 separate athletes, which means 12 separate lives, 12 separate personalities. And some of these lessons are one-on-one, and they're also dual lessons where they partner up and we have lessons, which is pretty amazing. I don't know if you've ever done that before, but the type of camaraderie that comes out of something like that, the type of positive competition that comes out of something like that, I can't give that. Like, that's something that those two girls do. It's pretty awesome. So anyways, I just wanted to talk to you guys about where I'm at with this situation, because maybe you're a coach and you do lessons and you work with travel teams and stuff like that, and maybe you've been thrown a curveball. And by curveball, I mean maybe you didn't know how to coach somebody, because we weren't born knowing how to coach, were we? Just like parenting. If you're a parent and a coach watching this, our babies didn't come with books. So it's just kind of one of those things. And I think in coaching, there's a lot of similarities as far as like being a parent. We give enough rope for the athletes to figure things out. If they're in trouble, we try to protect them from harm. Same thing as parenting, right? So I feel like, this is just my personal opinion, but I'm 38. So I want to say people in between 5 to 10 years, close within my age range, we're kind of that last generation where you could actually, as a teacher, or a coach, coach all one way, and you could teach all one way. And I was the curveball, though, for a teacher that I had twice as I was growing up. And she was a great teacher. She had all these awesome teacher certificates, and it was kind of weird because she would teach in our school district, but she felt like her daughter needed to be in a better school district. Her daughter got in so much trouble later, she ended up in our school district. It was weird. But anyways, I was the curveball that was thrown at her and had her up her game as a teacher. So I had her in 2nd grade and I had her in 6th grade. And she was a monster. Just for example, remember Book It? Who remembers Book It? Pizza Hut, right? I had literally minutes before the movie time, I had finished my books, and she had promised me, and here I am in 2nd grade, and she had promised me that I would get to go to the pizza party. So as everybody's standing up to line up at the door, I go to stand up, and she just gently pushes my shoulder down. Now, this day and age, teachers don't do that. They don't touch kids, everything's changed so much. And I remember sitting down and just going what did I do? I did everything that she asked me to do, and I completed my reading goal. And everybody proceeds to go across the hall to another teacher's room, and she brings me saltine crackers and says, "Here you go. This is what you're going to do during this time." I was so lost. I was 2nd grade, we're very black and white, right? We're you said this, but this isn't happening. Something's wrong, So then I had her in 6th grade again. And she was just determined that I was stupid. Yeah, she was ready to prove it. And I had to go through all the psych workup tests and look at the cards and tell me what you see and explain this and blah, 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 blah. Well, the ball started going back in my court because things were being brought to her attention that I wasn't stupid, right? She was just determined to prove me wrong. So she just taught me because it was a paycheck. I guess. I don't know. The lady hated me. I remember she always wore pantyhose, and I could hear her when she would walk. It was weird. The stupid things we remember as kids, right? So anyways, fast forward, freshman year of high school, I have this amazing math teacher. And we're doing story problems. And I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand how to break anything down. Well, kudos to you. My math teacher, that is, because he actually identified a learning disability that I had. Yeah, I had zero. I had zero reading comprehension all the way up to my freshman year of high school. So he said, let's get you tested. Let's do what we need to do. Hey, guess what? I had an IQ above average. What? I wasn't dumb. Again, I wasn't stupid. See, what happened was I had teachers in my path that not only did they bring out things in me that made me work harder, because, after that was identified, oh my gosh, I fell in love with reading. I learned how to read all over again. I was the kid who hated reading. And once I knew how to read and how to get it in there, I learned something. And those teachers that tried to knock me, they actually learned how to teach students better. Because now, let's fast forward big time, you cannot teach, let alone coach, kids the same as in one group. I help out with my church in children's ministry, and it's the same thing there. I can't tell all of them the same thing and expect all of them to do what I'm asking them to do exactly that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 out of 6 will do things differently, but they get to the end. They figure it out. So, back to coaching. That's what I want to talk about. So I feel like as a coach, times have changed to where not just do your teachers need to know if you have a learning disability, or maybe you just don't understand things the way that everybody else is getting it, but your coaches need to know. Bottom line, they need to know. I am a huge fan of coaching by metaphors. I love using metaphors to the point where my girls crack up at me. I love the metaphor. This is one from my childhood. I was all over that play like white on rice, because rice is white. Well, it could be brown, but for the most part, it's white. But just metaphors like that. I need to see you putting in work all the time, like white on rice. Okay? So I've learned, in 20 years of doing this, coaching little league teams, coaching travel ball teams, working with travel ball teams just like when they asked me to come out, motivational speaking, coaching high school ball. I have learned that there are key words for each athlete. I have one right now. Well, this is her words that light a fire, and I can see it in everything she does since she was 8, is focus up. Focus up. She gets it. She knows to reel all her emotions in, because sometimes as pitchers we will, how would you say, disrupt our calmness and flip out and bring all of our emotions out. And once you do that as a pitcher, you're done. So I can start to see her do that. And before she's 100% over that fence, if I'm watching that game, I'm focus up. Or if I get a text from the parents, I'm yell at her, focus up. There's always a key word. So I try to create these words with my girls. I need you to, when you're coming up to bat, you're not thinking you're going to hit the ball, you're going to hit the ball. So your key words are, you're going to hit the ball. I'm going to hit the ball. I don't think I can hit off this pitcher. No, I'm hitting off this pitcher, because I have 2 runners on base that are waiting for me to move them and or hit them in. Go big, go home. I'm about to clear the bases, right? That's the kind of confidence. So I don't know if you as a coach have experienced this, where you're starting to see how things are changing, and you can't coach a team of 9 to 12 girls all the same. You're going to have a handful that learn differently. So this is the grit of this video, is I want to inspire you to get to the bottom of how they learn. How are they learning? Because I can't tell you how many times I've had coaches talk to me oh my gosh, I feel like such a jerk. I was yelling at her, to do this, do that, and now that I know, she learns this way, now I can help her. And parents, if you're a parent and you're watching this, I want to inspire you to not hold back from the coach, from the mentor that is in your daughter's life. Like if your daughter has a learning disability, and maybe it's not even been identified yet within a school district or in a Montessori school, whatever school your kid goes to, because that's a whole nother topic, but maybe it hasn't been identified, but you and your spouse, you and your family, you know that your girl learns different than her friend. I want to inspire you. Don't hold back. Don't make it a secret, because that's the generation I came from. Like, I don't want to say the word because it's so un-PC now, but when I was a kid in my generation, if somebody was quote unquote off in the class, they were deemed, I'm not going to say it, okay? But, you know, I've had conversations with old classmates, you know, that one special kid in class, you know, that kid, the weird, you know, stuff like that. And now looking back at these kids, there was a handful of kids that I went to school with. Now looking back, and we have all these identifiers and all these markers for things, now it's like, oh, that's just how that kid learned. Like, I mean, I remember one kid, I don't even think autism was a thing, like, back in the day, and he was genius. Oh my gosh, he was so smart. And he, like, I don't know if I don't know the final diagnosis, but like one day he just like went and like stabbed himself in the hand with a pencil. And they said, you know, they started taking him to all these things, and I honestly don't know how the story ended, but I know one thing for sure, he wasn't stupid. He was a straight A student. He was brilliant, and he was athletic. Like, remember the president test? Oh my gosh, the kid could do pull-ups like white on rice. Another metaphor. But anyways, parents, I want to inspire you to have that conversation with your coach. And yes, it's going to be hard because unfortunately I'm going to go out on a limb here. A lot of you watching this as parents, you come from that generation of, shh, don't tell anybody. We're just going to deal with it. We're just going to deal with it. You know, they're just going to learn. They're just going to have to learn. No, you are not doing your kid a favor then, now, or their future. Okay? So I want to inspire you to have that awkward conversation with your kid's coach. You gotta have it. And if you can't because you're prideful, then I'm asking you to swallow your pride. Okay? Because in a way, you think you're protecting your kid, but you're not. You're actually holding your kid back from her reaching, or him if you coach boys or you have a son, but you're holding them back from reaching their full potential. Now, there's a thin line there. I'm not saying give them a crutch, because crutches are for sale like at Walgreens, and you can get them from your doctor. Please do not give your kid a crutch. Once your kid knows what they've been identified with, like, okay, for instance, I'm an audible learner. I can listen and it can go in. I'm also visual, but I've also, throughout the years, I can read and learn now. You know, like I said, you know, my learning disability, for the longest time, I didn't have reading comprehension. Sometimes it sneaks back in and I'm like, whoa, what did I just read? But because I know, guess what I do? I go back and I do what needs to be done in order to get that to stick in my head. So some cool things that are going on with the travel ball team that I coach and that I work with. You know, we'll typically have practice on Tuesday nights, like a physical practice. And because we live in a town that has snow and nobody wants to like put forth the effort to actually open up an indoor facility to where kids from all over town that suffer from our weather that is worse more than it is better, nobody wants to put something up like that. Our girls get maybe one day a week, and it's indoors, and it's an arm and a leg. That's how much it costs. And then they get to go into one of the classrooms at the school that the school allows us to use, and they do Chalk Talk, like on Wednesday. So it's really cool because as a coach, I'm sitting here going, okay, we are taking these girls and physically making them learn the plays and listen, right? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say maybe 75% of the girls, hoping, actually can walk out of that practice and go, I totally know what to do when I'm playing short and there's a runner on 1 and there's a runner on 3. But what about the other percent? Touche. That's where the Chalk Talk comes in. So they have that classroom. They get that visual. They got coach up there writing stuff down. They got girls asking questions. In fact, all these girls have journals. Like, this is a 10U team. And they're also inviting the 8U girls, which aren't actively playing yet because they are so little and there really are no 8U teams in Arizona. Which my daughter, we will hit the road after Little League season this coming year. We'll all be into it. But for now, we are instilling every single aspect of learning that we can for these girls instead of just going out and beating a dead horse and hoping and praying. Not even, I'm going to be honest with you, some coaches, you don't even hope and pray that your girls get it. You just expect them to get it because you might think you know it all. But I'm going to tell you right now, not all your girls are going to get it. It's different now as a teacher, as a coach, as a mentor, as somebody who volunteers in children's ministry. You have to cover all aspects of how to get your point across, how to make the play. You know, it's like running. You can ask anybody to run and they take off like this. Okay? And you right away, you're like, put your arms closer to your body. They're doing this. So I remember when I was a kid, we had a track coach that would hold a chip for all my old classmates. Do you remember this one? But it was basically, you want to get through the wind as fast as you can. Like, act like wind's coming flat at you, and you just got to run through it. So that is basically the gist of this little video for coordinated coaching. If you do have any comments and if you have questions, maybe you have something like crazy going on your team, or you do lessons as well, and you're like, I just cannot get this girl to understand what I'm asking her to do. Feel free to comment below. My email, I'll put that, I'll say it right now, but I'll put it in the link below. But if you have any questions about it, just refer to the email, shoot me a question. I would love to help you out. Brainstorm. I know I love brainstorming with other coaches when I hit a wall. When I have girls, like I have, an older girl right now who comes out of her arm track when she's pitching. And you pitching coaches, the arm track is right over the power line, right? So when she comes out, her arm actually goes way back here. This is just something that's been created, right? It's a bad mechanic. And having that conversation with her about how hard it's going to be to break this, I told her flat out, the stats are against you. But I can tell you right now, the stats have been against me many times. And I've overcame it. And you can too. So we're going to put in the work. And that means we don't just wait till you have a lesson with coach. No, this is where I beg to differ. I hear a lot of coaches say that pitchers need to work 4 to 5 days. Call me a mean coach, but honestly, if you want to play Division 1 or even Division 2, because you all are a lot of fish, right? Small fish in a big pond. It's the girls that are going to play Division 1, Division 2 ball and possibly play on the professional fast pitch teams and possibly play or even have the opportunity to try out for Team USA. One of the amazing teams from USA that actually bring the gold home. I love it. I hated it when they cut it because I was like, really? We bring gold home? What's really going on here? But anyways, another subject. Those girls that are going to have the opportunity to rise to those occasions are the girls that are throwing 7 days a week. Bottom line. Flat out honesty. Now, can you throw 7 days a week and throw bad mechanics and expect to play Division 1, Division 2 ball? No. No, you can't. You have to learn the right things. You have to break them down. For example, one of the girls I worked with yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, that was Thursday. Yeah, because today's Friday. Sorry. But one of the girls I worked with on Wednesday, a huge transition from last week. And you know what she did differently? And the weather has sucked here again because nobody will just the city just won't come together and put this beautiful indoor facility that we could all use because weather is worse more months out of the year than it is good here. Another subject. Don't even get me started. But this girl literally just did arm circles in her house. So Wednesday's lesson was nothing but consistent strikes in the zone. She had 3 that were up high. I think they got past the catcher. But going off of where she's came from, holy shnikes. That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of work that pitchers have to put in if you want any opportunity to play D1, D2 ball. Because remember, you are a small fish in a big pond. That's the fact right there. So coaches, like I said, I will leave my email below if you have any questions, concerns, you want to brainstorm, maybe you're hitting a wall with one of your athletes. Please feel free to email me and I will definitely email you back, and hopefully we can find a solution together, right? Because working together is better than working with no one. Teamwork makes the dream work. I'm just kidding. But that's all for now. And I apologize if you do follow my little YouTube channel and I haven't been on here. That's on me. I've been super busy working out of state, doing ultrasound. But I'm here now. I don't have to load up and take off. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to share with them some of the struggles that I faced as a coach and the revolution, I guess that's right, that I've seen start to take place in my athletes. And that's learning. You've got to definitely embrace how your athletes learn. In order for your athletes to truly learn, you as the coach have to embrace it. Parents, if you're a parent and you're watching this, I'm challenging you, I'm inspiring you, I'm motivating you to push you to have the conversation that you don't want to have. It's not a secret. And remember, you're doing your daughter a favor. It's awesome to have that conversation with your coach. I've had those conversations with parents, and man, it's like the elephant got off my face. I'm like, now I get it. Now I understand. And then, of course, I apologize. Like, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. And the kid's like, are you kidding me? Like, I didn't know I could talk about it. I didn't know I could tell you. Yes. If you're an athlete and you're watching this and you learn a different way, I don't even want to say learning disability anymore, because I don't think it's really a disability. You just learn a different way than the person sitting next to you or the person on second base. You learn a different way. You learn your way. So if you learn your way and it's different than others, athletes, I challenge you to talk to your coach. Let your coach know, like, hey, I don't really learn all that well. When you start yelling at me, I just kind of like phase out. Like, I go into like this protection phase, you know, or I learn better if you would like draw it. I can't tell you how many times I've drawn something on a piece of paper and taken a picture and sent it to one of my athletes through Instagram. I can't tell you how many times I've done a little video and sent it to my athletes, you know, through Messenger or something like that. So be flexible, everyone, and your girl is going to be the athlete that she aspires to be. Thanks guys for watching, and it's Friday. Hey! Hope you guys have a wonderful day. God bless.